What's going on, Muscle Monsters? Alain Gonzalez here, and welcome to another Instagram Q&A. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me at Muscle Monsters on Instagram. Ask your question whenever I post a picture stating that it's question time or something to that effect, and I will answer them here in one of these videos. All right, so without further ado, let's jump right in. The first question is, could someone make significant gains in 12 weeks to go from slim to kind of muscular? And I would have to say yes. However, you have to be realistic about what kind of muscular is, right? When I first started training correctly and eating somewhat decent, right, those first 12 weeks produced gains that were significant enough for everyone I knew to make comments about how much my body had changed. Okay, some people even referred to me as muscle man and things of that nature. And so I would say yes, you can make significant gains, but don't expect to look like, someone who's been training for years when it's only been 12 weeks, right? Those first 12 to 24 weeks are probably where you're going to see the biggest changes the fastest, and eventually things will slow down. So you kind of have to get into that long-term mentality. But to answer your question, yes, you can make really good progress in 12 weeks. All right? Next question. In your opinion, what is the best split? Should you train the same muscle group twice a week? What do you think is the most efficient way to use your time in the gym to get big? All right, there is no best training routine. If there were, we would all be on it. Okay, every YouTube channel you watch with a guy who is in decent shape would tell you, do this routine, it's the best. Okay, but that's just not the case. Instead of looking at it as what's the best routine, figure out what are the best principles to follow, right? So what is most optimal? Number one, it has to be a program that's going to get you stronger gradually over time. Number two, it's got to be something that fits into your schedule, because I don't care how optimal it is. If you can't stick to it, then it's not going to work. And then number three, it has to be something that you're primed and excited to do in the gym. Because if I tell you that full body training is the end all be all, but you hate full body training, then you're probably not going to do it. And if you do it, you're not going to be primed and excited to do it, and you're probably not going to get the best results from it. Okay? The best use of your time in the gym is, in my opinion, focusing on the big, heavy compound movements. Everything after that is just extra. Okay? Not that it's not something that you should do. In fact, I highly recommend that you do, but if you're short on time, make sure that the big heavy compounds are done first, and then everything else you can sacrifice if you need to. All right? So things like your squat, bench press, deadlift, overhead press, bent barbell rows, pull-ups, those are all going to be or should be the meat of your training. Okay? Next question. Your thoughts on gainers. I'm not a huge fan of the weight gainers that you get from the supplement shop. However, I do advocate homemade weight gain shakes that have a lot of calories, but also a lot of micronutrients, and allow you to determine the macronutrient breakdown, right? So you can decide how much fruits and how much oats and how much peanut butter, how much milk to put in so that it matches what you need to take in for the day, as opposed to these weight gain shakes that you're buying from the store. They're not really dense in vitamins and minerals a lot of the time. It's just a lot of fillers, things of that nature. And again, with the homemade ones, you know exactly what you're putting in, you know exactly the macronutrient breakdown, but also you're ensuring that you're getting those micronutrients, the fiber, and that those macronutrients are going to fit into your daily caloric intake. Okay, so it's a bit more flexible. Next question. How much cardio should be done while eating in a surplus so you don't get fat? How many times a week? How many minutes? You actually don't have to do any cardio to ensure you don't get fat while you're in a surplus. If you do add cardio, what it's going to do is just allow you to increase your energy expenditure so that you can eat a bit more in order to reach that surplus. But if you're already aiming for a surplus, right, all you really have to do is adjust the amount of that surplus in order to minimize the fat. right? And so instead of eating 500 calories over maintenance, for example, start at 250, and that's going to allow you to, number one, be in the necessary surplus to build muscle, but number two, so that it's not so high that you're putting on unwanted fat. Next question. Are BCAAs important? We're referring to supplementing with BCAAs. I would say no, it's not important. All right? It can be a viable option and it may be helpful, but you don't need to consume them if you're consuming enough protein from various sources in your diet. So whether you're bulking or cutting, if you're getting sufficient protein, chances are you won't need to supplement with BCAAs. Now, again, there are certain scenarios where they can be helpful, but the reason I say they're not important is because they're not necessary. What's important is that you're eating enough, you're getting your vitamins and minerals, your fiber, and that you're eating again according to your goals. So if you are trying to build muscle and gain weight, that you're eating in that slight surplus, and if you're trying to lose weight, that you're eating in that slight deficit. Next question. Should my muscles be sore every time I work out? If they're not, does that mean I need to intensify my workouts? No, your muscles don't need to be sore every time you work out. This is going to happen a lot in the beginning, but over time, as your body adapts to the stimulus, you're going to notice that you'll get sore less and less, and to the point where you're probably not getting sore at all. In fact, if you've been training for some years and you're still getting a lot of muscle soreness, then you're probably either not recovering, you're not training frequently enough, or various other factors that are probably not positive. This is not to say that muscle soreness is bad. Occasionally I'll still get sore from certain things, but it's not the aim, right? It doesn't mean if you're not sore that you need to work out harder. Okay, so that is not a gauge for a good workout. A gauge for a good workout is progress. As long as you're progressing, then you're on the right track, whether you're getting sore or not. Next question. Do you personally prefer cutting or bulking? That's a tough one because they both have their pros and their cons, right? Cutting I enjoy because when I'm leaner, I just feel better. I have more energy, and because I'm not eating these huge meals, I don't feel lethargic throughout the day, and so I can get more focused work done. Also, I'm doing a bit more cardio, and so again, that helps me, feel better throughout the day, psychologically more than physically, or perhaps maybe even both. With bulking, obviously it's fun because you get to indulge in all these foods that you enjoy. You start getting stronger, your clothes fit you tighter. But personally, I don't like the way I feel. I don't like the way I look, despite all of the pros. So if I had to pick one, I would say I prefer cutting, but not necessarily to the point where I'm absolutely shredded, right? Just on a kind of a slow cut to a point where maybe I'm at where I'm at now, maybe a little bit leaner. That's about perfect for me. And that's pretty much it for today's Q&A. I got more questions coming your way soon, and I will talk to you in the next one. Peace.